many of you took that, but I take it upon myself, I was remiss in not reminding you. So it's still available. You have until tomorrow morning to take it. Okay. So it should be pretty quick. I think there's a 20-minute time limit on it. So 10 questions. So you have been reminded, because I forgot to remind you earlier. So Blackboard quiz, just like the others. Remember that. Good. So a couple of things. Basically, today, was that a hand up there? Or just
you were waving at the camera.
Today, the idea was to have a discussion about the quarantine, that assignment I gave you, that reading passage. And then I have an activity that may work well, or may just completely crash and burn. We'll find out. Dealing with disease identification. So before that, just a couple things I wanted to talk about. First of all, I sent you guys a little email alerting you to a news story that was, I sent it yesterday, about a measles outbreak that occurred back in 1991, I think, in Philadelphia, and the whole issue of the legal system and how courts actually ordered parents to get their kids vaccinated. And I was unaware of there ever being a situation in this country where courts actually did that. And I thought it was great, personally, but I just didn't think that happened. I thought we were just too individualistic around here. But anyways, I found that article to be pretty interesting. Secondly, personalizing things here. On the subject of vaccination, this class has really made me do a lot more investigation into vaccinations. And so on Wednesday, I made an appointment and I went over to across the street to my doctor and said, we're going to talk vaccines, because I want to know where I need further vaccinations. And so at the end of that, he just kind of shook his head and he said, you are the most well-educated person about vaccines I've ever had, a patient that I've ever had. I appreciate that. But I actually went to the CDC website. You can get a vaccination schedule. And I read through all the footnotes, et cetera, and found a very interesting thing about my own history in that, you could go look this up yourself, but this was ancient history for you guys, but there was a window of time right around when I was born where the measles vaccine wasn't, the particular measles vaccine that was in use wasn't terribly effective. And so I'm looking at this going, uh-oh. Given the fact that measles has been in the news lately, and a lot of adults have been getting it, and so I'm thinking, So I sent an email to my mother. Mom, as far as you know, did I get the full vaccinations when I was a kid? And my poor mom's going, well, as far as I know, yes. But, and then the question is, well, what measles vaccine, what version did I get? Did I get the one that didn't work very well? Yeah, so because there's this question mark,
you're freshly vaccinated.
I am freshly vaccinated. All right. Yeah, so I got the doctor agreed wholeheartedly, yeah, you should probably get a booster. Just get the MMR again. It's like, great. So measles, mumps, and rubella. There I am. And then we kept talking, and I was going through my vaccination history. And I went to Cuenca in 2012, and so I got a Hep A then, so I'm good for that for a while. And then I think it was yellow fever, also got a vaccination for that. And then I had a Hep B 20 years ago, and I'm kind of at the tail end of, if you look up, how long, Google, how long does a hepatitis B vaccine last? And you come up with, we think it can give you protection up to about 20 years, and I'm at that tail end. And so I'm talking to him going, well, what should I do? So this is one of those judgment calls. You got to work with your physician. And he came up with what I thought was the coolest scientifically answer, which was, well, let's find out if you still have protection. So I'm going to send you down and get some blood work, and we're going to look to see if you have hepatitis B antibodies in your blood.
Cool.
Yeah. I thought he was just gonna give you.
No,
no.
I
was like, whoa.
This is an ethical science. So the idea is if I still have the antibodies, I still have protection, right? So I have to schedule that. But, and then we kept talking, and I was saying, all right, well, here's another one for you, pertussis, whooping cough. I don't know if you're aware, but the whooping cough vaccine that's available, frankly, doesn't work very well. They had a better vaccine prior to 1992, but there were side effects. And so to minimize the side effects, they reworked the vaccine, and now there are no or fewer side effects, but the vaccine doesn't work as well. So these are one of these trade-off you get in medicine. And basically, kids are, the recommended vaccination schedule for them is every 2 years for the pertussis vaccine. And so now apparently the federal government is actually recommending adults get this continual booster shots. And that was where my physician departed from the government. He said, this is crazy. Adults are not going to remember every 2 years to come get a pertussis shot. Plus, if an adult gets whooping cough, it's not as big of an issue as it is for a child because our airways are different. I don't know if it still works, but after class on Wednesday, I found a functional link to the video. I don't know if you ever had a chance to watch it, but that video starts off, I think at the very beginning, with a child, a newborn.
The sick baby?
Yes, that has whooping cough. And it's pretty terrifying. And I don't even have, it's not my kid, but I'm looking at this going, this is terrifying. And so that's why I was asking him. He goes, I wouldn't worry about that. But then, of course, he did the fateful one more question. When was the last time you had a tetanus shot? I hate that vaccine. I don't know. I should have lied, but I didn't. I said, I don't remember. He goes, okay, well, you're going to get the pertussis anyways, because you're going to get
DPT.
Which one? The Tdap.
Oh, Tdap. Yeah.
Tdap. So tetanus, diphtheria, and pertussis. I got all of them, and my shoulders killed me. That one I've always reacted really strongly against. The other one, I got the MMR over here. It's fine. This one, it's like, oh, this is going to be bad. And it's bad. So.
They both injected into muscle?
Yeah.
I didn't need the MMR because I've had all 3 of those diseases.
Lucky you?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Congratulations. I don't know how to respond to that.
Yeah.
Dr. Bob's had everything.
Yeah.
I have not had any of those, but I have been reading a book on vaccinations. This is my bedtime reading before I go to sleep. Most people look at me and go, that's your bedtime reading? It's a great book. It's about an individual who worked on a lot of his career, he developed a lot of the vaccines that we use. And so it was interesting to read about the history of the vaccine production and how desperately they were needed. And so this guy, a true scientist, his daughter came down with, I can't remember if it was measles or mumps, measles, mumps, one of those. And he noticed it, all right? And so what does he do? He says, wait here, drives into work, gets a sterile swab and some culture media, comes back home, this is the middle of the night, swabs her throat, captures enough of the virus, takes it with the swab, puts it in the growth, some media, takes it back to the work, fortunately lived close to where he worked, and then started adding it to cells to see if he can grow the virus. And so the vaccine that was developed came from a virus from his own daughter.
Wow.
So I thought that was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Scientists
Yeah.
Yeah.
doing experiments on our
It's for her own benefit, or at least her kids. And there was a nice picture, I think, of in the book of the now a little bit older daughter watching as her younger sibling was getting injected with the vaccine that was made from her sibling's virus isolate. So, all right, so enough of my vaccine schedule. Now I am trying to be, walking the talk, talking the walk, whatever. I'm trying to, teaching an epidemiology class and talking about the importance of vaccines It'd be pretty hypocritical if I wasn't up on my vaccination, so. Trying to demonstrate that I am, at least in the case of vaccines,
Uh-huh.
doing this. All right, so the plan, what I would like you to do is, I sent you guys an email about kind of breaking the class into two groups and pro-vaccine, pro-quarantine, anti-quarantine, based on that article. What I would like you to do is each of those groups, however you're associated, is kind of gather together and talk about your thoughts about these are good arguments why this nurse should have been quarantined for the pro and the other group. This is a reason, these are arguments why she shouldn't be quarantined. And just spend a few minutes to collect your thoughts, and then I just want to kind of put them on the board and see what your best arguments are for and against the quarantine. Okay? So if you don't remember the groups, the pro-quarantine group, Bethany, Robbie Brentkamp, Caitlin, Jenna Clark, Kara Deemer, Erica Drost, Jordan Eddington, RJ, and Anne. Sorry if I'm messing up your names. So those are the pro. And the anti-quarantine would be Mackenzie, Tara, Lauren, Maggie, Carrie, Kidane, Carrie's not here, right? Kidane, Lauren, Sandito, Zach, and Carissa. So rearrange yourselves however